Ah! Boo. It's me! Wait, hold on. Your favorite person on the entire planet. How is everyone? I'm doing so well. I have the day off, and I have tomorrow off, and I'm so excited. So hype. I was originally supposed to have, I think, Friday off, but my coworker switched with me. So now I get 2 days off in a row, and I'm so hyped. Because today I'm going to be kind of productive. I think I'm going to clean my room, make it cute, you know, put on a southern accent for you. I don't really know. But today we're going to be talking about what was that? I don't even know. We're going to be talking about talking. Apparently I can't say that with the southern accent. We're going to be talking about like Tinder horror stories. Hold on. Dude, I remember you! Of course you can tell me the story. Tell me that story, broski. Hold on. My hair's not cooperating. Kinda? Not really. It's fine. It's whatever. Okay, is it okay? I'm gonna read this out loud. Okay. A long time ago, female friend had to wear pantyhose every day for years in corporate America because of dress code. She hated it, and I said, "What's the big deal?" So she said, I think it's about time a man lived," and she challenged me to wear them every day underneath my pants. Pre-COVID, I was wearing them 5 times a week, but with COVID, office visits stopped. So she wanted me to keep wearing them. So she had me create this name and tell the story for streamers. That's so funny. I freaking love that. So how are they? I personally find them annoying. I think they would be less annoying underneath pants because so I used to be a dancer. So yeah, the bathroom's a nightmare. Well, no. So I'm gonna explain to you why for a second. And one last thing. Okay. You tell me the one last thing and then I'll tell you why I think that they might be worse, like underneath a dress or something else. How long ago was that? I remember you. Anyone I tell who likes it if they wear sheer tights on stream? Oh no. You no. That's okay. You are good. I don't need it. That's really, really funny. That's super funny, honestly. No, I remember you though. When was it? Like near Christmas or something? Like 6 months ago? Jesus, it's already been 6 months. I don't have. I refuse. I haven't worn tights in like. When did I stop dancing? 5 years? 5 years ago? I followed you in May. Oh, okay. So, I don't know what May is. No. Well, then I'm gonna have to go buy some because I've like grown since then. But the reason that I think that they might be better underneath like pants is because when you're wearing a dress, you have nothing like kind of keeping them up, so they just slowly creep down your legs. And then you got to do a little wiggle dance if you're in public. They like slowly creep down your thighs, and then all of a sudden your pantyhose are peeking out from underneath your dress. Or happens to me anyways. It's so horrible. But I think with pants it would like keep it up a little bit better than just like free falling, you know? But when I was in dance and you also had to wear a leotard over it or stuff like that, yeah, it's hot, true. When you had to wear a leotard over it, they would still fall down and they would just pull the crotch of the leotard down. And it just made you look like you had a long, long ass torso. Yeah. Anyways, I vetoed that movement. Yeah, I had a few streamers tell me to get a leotard. No, I wouldn't put you in that prison. That's a prison sentence, babes. That's a prison sentence. I can't do that to you. I really can't. It'd be a fun experiment, but it makes going to the bathroom even worse. Cause when a leotard is on, you don't have like you literally have to take off the leotard, so your whole like all of your goodies are hanging out in the bathroom. So you take off your leotard, then you try and take down the tights. And the leotard is like, especially if you're sweaty from dance or something, it just is it like sticks to you. It's horrible. It's literally. Also, they had me wear more than one pair, so it's worse. Jesus Christ. I really just can't believe that you continued on with this. Like, you could have just been like, oh yeah, they suck, and then move on with your life. But, like, he's like, let me just make this worse for myself in every possible way, in every direction. Let me just make this so horrible. I'm too stubborn. And now, fair. Fair. I honestly, you should have just been like, yeah, they suck, and move on. But now you're stuck in this hell of pantyhose and entrapment, okay? That's so funny. I can't. That's so funny. I hate that for you. Well, okay. So today I wanted to kind of do that's fair. I don't think it does. You could have made me laugh in different ways. Like you don't have to like wear pantyhose to do it, you know? That is really funny though. So the reason I wanted to do Tinder today is because I well, it's my thing and it's unique. Well, that's true. That's true. It is a unique thing. It makes you very rememberable. It does. Like, I usually remember if people come back to my stream, like, I remember everyone. But, like, I, like, for sure remembered you both. Um, but, yeah, I don't own tights. I threw them out. They're gone. I threw them out, when I stopped dancing. That is not sad, because otherwise I'd feel an obligation to do it just because you're doing it. And I really don't want to do that to myself. So, yeah. But, so I have Tinder, right? And the reason I wanted to do Tinder horror stories is because I have a few, not really horror stories, but they're awkward as frick, you know? And I got Tinder. So I'm going into my sophomore year of college. I got Tinder about a week before I moved to school for my freshman year, right? So I've had Tinder I got Tinder. Hold on, I'm gonna get this out of my ear. So I got Tinder. Added some people on Snapchat. I just wanted to like meet people. What? No, you're like 19 and make me wear them, bro. You did that of your own volition. You did it before you even met me. It has nothing to do with me. Okay, nothing. Frick you. But okay. But so I got Tinder before like my freshman year of high school of college, right? So whatever. I added some people on Snapchat. I wasn't really talking to people like romantically. It was more just to meet people, see some faces that would be on campus, like just so I would have like I wouldn't be like lonely. Like I well yeah, but like I wouldn't like not know anyone there. So I did that and I think I matched with like hold on. That's not entirely true. That's not entirely true. Anyways, I think I have like stop. Stop it. Um I don't know. It used to tell me and now it won't tell me. I had like mm. So all of my so I've had four boyfriends in my life. One of them I don't really count because it was in like in middle school. Um one of them he cheated on me. So three of them were my like best friends before. One of them I don't really count because they were middle school. This one cheated on me and sent dick pics to my cousin. Um and then this one I I was really good friends with him, but I wasn't really romantically attracted to him when he asked me. But I was also like friends with his entire friend group. So if I said no, I felt like obligated to say yes. So I didn't have a crush on him or anything. So I said yes. I think I developed a crush around like month 3 or something. Yeah, and we were together for like almost 3 years. But because of this boyfriend, my fourth boyfriend, it made me come to like the realization that it really was toxic and not healthy at all. Like a lot of the things that happened I thought were just normal in relationships, but they weren't. So, yay, should have left. Like, should have never even gotten into that relationship. And then my fourth boyfriend, because I just got out of a 3 year relationship. So I wasn't really looking for a relationship. I was just like, I'm gonna meet people, kind of hang out, like have some hookups, maybe. I don't know. Like it's not really that big of a deal to me. He was like meant to be like a hookup, and then after like a month of us like hanging out and kind of hooking up, he asked me out, and I was like, what? Some of them we dated. Yeah, winning. But that was in college. So that was like 6 months ago. Yeah, we broke up early December, I think like December 10th or something. I only know that because I was on my way to my first ever track meet. So, yeah, it was a good time. It was fun. Anyways, that's not the purpose. The purpose of this stream. The purpose of my stream was to talk about like kind of Tinder horror stories, right? So, oh no. Oh no, hold on. I just remembered one of my like persons that I like met on Tinder follows me, and I was gonna talk about that. He follows me on here. I was gonna talk about it. No! I hope he's not watching, because that would be awkward. Hold on. He knows who he is. Ah, I don't care. It's not like it matters to me anyway. I think it's just me right now. Period. It's like a longer story, so I don't really wanna like be talking about it and then he like joining in while I'm talking about it, you know? Anyway, so I'm gonna just talk about it real fast. So I got Tinder, and I met like a bunch of these guys, and this one guy I thought was relatively attractive. Like I wasn't really thinking of anything. I was just like, "Oh, you're kind of cute. Let me like." So we added each other in Snapchat. A month later, I started dating my boyfriend, like boyfriend number 4, right? Um, so we started dating two, so we started hanging out like a month after, wait, what? I don't know anymore. Yeah, I would say we like started dating like a month and a half into first semester, so I stopped really talking to all the guys that I met on Tinder because obviously that would be kind of disrespectful. Like, even though I wasn't talking to them romantically, I still met them on Tinder, which in order for you to meet people on Tinder, you have to swipe right, and like if you swipe right, then obviously you're physically attracted to me and I'm physically attracted to you. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of like that, but I wasn't really talking to them seriously. Like it was just like friendly conversation. Um so I didn't want to do that to him, so I kind of stopped talking to these people, including the one, oh god. Sorry. Including the one that I thought was real attractive. Um Yada yada yada. We dated for 3, 4 months. I don't remember. We broke up in December. I started talking to the one that I thought was attractive again. And I wasn't like talking to him, but I was thinking about starting that kind of relationship with him. In like March or something, I found his Instagram and I saw that he had pictures of his girlfriend. And I was like, whoa. But the pictures were from Halloween when I was dating the other guy. So I was like, oh, like, are they still dating? Like, what's going on? Like, I thought, because it wasn't really flirting, but there was definitely some like flirty kind of undertones. So I didn't know if it was like just me or if it was actually flirting. You know what I mean? So I did some snooping, found her Instagram. There was a recent photo of them like a month ago on her Instagram. So I messaged her. So I messaged the girlfriend and was like, I was like, hey, like, are you dating this person? And she was like, yeah, why? And I was like, oh, well, like, I didn't realize you have a girlfriend. Like, I've been messaging him for the past, like, 3, 4 months. Like, I just wanted to let you know, like, if you would like, it wasn't really flirting or anything, but if that makes you uncomfortable, like if that makes you uncomfortable, like I'ma stop talking to him. See, because I thought he was cheating on her, right? So if I thought she was cheating on her, he could have easily lied to me because he would have been proven to be a cheater. So in my brain, well, okay. Okay. So I agree and kind of disagree. Like we met on Tinder, right? So there's a connotation of I find him physically attractive, he finds me physically attractive. And if I'm talking to someone, it wasn't really flirty, but we were kind of getting to know each other, and he would send me flirty messages and like flirty TikToks of like all that type of stuff. Like he would send me flirty stuff. Well, that's why, okay. If I thought, cuz it seemed like he was trying to make me in my brain the other woman. And cuz I didn't even know about her until, hold on, when did we start talking? From August to March. I didn't even know about her, and apparently they started dating that first week of school. So, yeah, because I wasn't looking for anything. But, okay. When I would consider, if I was the girlfriend and I knew my boyfriend was messaging someone that he met on Tinder, I would be livid. I really don't think it's okay to, like, because on Tinder, he was definitely looking for a relationship or stuff like that. So when it really was flirting, and the reason I think why we didn't go on any dates or didn't hang out or anything is because, well, if I was him, I would be livid you snooped and messaged someone you don't know. So yeah. I didn't really snoop. Like she was on his Instagram. And it's like, if your girl was messaging someone that she met on Tinder while we were dating, I really don't think you'd be okay with that. So I wanted to make sure that they were dating. I was like, I was interested in pursuing the relationship. And if they were dating, I didn't want to make the girlfriend uncomfortable by putting advances on her boyfriend. Right? You know what I mean? I'm not even done with the story. You don't know the relationship or what he thinks. I don't think you handled this right. I I definitely think messaging the girlfriend was the best option. I really don't think so, because if I thought in my brain, hey Birdie. Okay, so me and guy wearing pantyhose. I think I told you about this guy before. So me and the guy wearing pantyhose are disagreeing. So I was talking to this guy on Tinder and on Snapchat, like from August to like March. March, I found his Instagram and he had a girl on it. He had a girl on it, right? So I was like, oh fuck, like if I'm gonna be the second woman, I need to message her, let her know what's kind of going on, and see what's going on myself. So I messaged her. was like, hey, like, are you dating this person? She said, yeah. And she thought the same thing you were thinking. Great, guy wearing pantyhose. But he was definitely flirting with me. And I really don't if I found out that my boyfriend, yeah, it's not cheating, but I was thinking that I was gonna start dating this guy or start hooking up with him. I thought we were going to be more intimate based on the way we were messaging each other. Yeah, it's not necessarily cheating, but it's disrespectful. And it's like, it's not necessarily cheating, but I thought based on the way we were texting, something was going to happen. Right? Honestly, I think what he did was disrespectful. So I messaged the girlfriend to be like, hey, are you dating this guy? And she was like, yes, I'm dating this guy. Yeah. Well, I think it's okay to like flirt if you don't know the person. But I lived like I know him. Because people never do that. Just because they do it doesn't mean it's good. Well, okay. If like you're flirting with someone just for fun, like you're never gonna go back to that place. Like if you're like, say you're on vacation, you're kind of flirting with someone, you're never gonna see him again. It's really not that big of a deal, I don't think. He lived on my floor. I shared my birthday cake with him because I couldn't eat all of it. Like, I know him. Like, I've seen him. Like, you know what I mean? If you're going to harass, I wouldn't harass someone if he flirts with someone, but if he tries to pursue someone, I would definitely harass. I would break up with him. I would. I'm honestly, someone, I think it's okay to be attracted to people, right? Or attracted to someone. However, trying to pursue that attraction in any way is disrespectful to your relationship. If I was talking to a guy and he did that, I would break up with him, no questions asked. I'm not willing to tolerate my sense of security because if he's willing to do that and I know about it, what is he willing to do behind my back when he already face front disrespected the relationship? So, yeah, as someone who's been in the guy's position before, I think it's wrong to flirt with other people if you're dating someone. Facts. That's you. The fact you never asked him directly, I have a huge problem with. Well, I just don't understand I don't get why you have a problem with it. Um, because, you know, sir, if you were my boyfriend and you were doing that, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Birdie. I was saying the dude could have lied and said he wasn't dating anyone. If I asked the guy, he said, "Oh, I'm not dating anyone." That's just cuz okay. She wasn't a random woman. She was someone who I thought was his girlfriend. Okay. Okay, so let's say that I trusted him, right? I just let it go. On his Instagram, the picture was from October. The picture was from October. If I asked him and I just trusted what he said, he could have said, "Oh, that's just an old picture. Like, I dated someone in October. We broke up and blah, blah, blah." I would have been like, "Okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, let's continue talking." He could have easily lied to me. I wouldn't have any way to repercuss that without talking to her. So he could have easily lied to me, and if I just believed him, I would still be in that same position. If you asked him first, I just really don't I just don't get why you keep wanting me to, like, I don't really see the big deal here. Like, okay. If I was in your situation, I would ask the woman directly. Okay, fair. I okay. So from your opinion, right? Me talking to that guy isn't serious enough to ask someone else, right? If it wasn't serious enough to ask someone else what's going on, what makes, like, I don't know how to word this. Okay. I really don't know how to word this, but what I'm thinking is if what's happening between us isn't serious enough to ask someone else, I personally think that I thought it was going to be serious enough. And to protect myself and to protect the other woman, I was willing to ask the other woman, like, "Hey, are you dating?" That way I could get out of the situation fast, right? Like, if it wasn't serious enough, then if it wasn't serious enough to ask, hold on. Okay, wait. I thought of the word to say this. If it wasn't serious enough to ask to warrant someone being disrespected in the relationship, that means it's not serious enough that I need to respect those two in a different way. Because to me, if it's not serious enough, those two are just strangers. Right? Like, if it's not a serious enough of a relationship between me and this guy, what makes it so that I have to respect him? Okay, and that's your right. Like, you don't have to, like, you never asked him in the first place. If she said no, honestly, I think that you, in a non-serious situation where you don't have to respect, I wouldn't even consider it disrespectful. I would just consider it like meh, you know? I if if you're not like, you bitch got me a lost of words, bro. That's your right. But we weren't even like super serious in your eyes, so it wouldn't be that much of a loss if someone did something. But to me, it looked like you were trying to make me the other woman and cheat on your girlfriend. So in my brain, you already lost credibility. So why would I ask you? You know? And if it's not serious enough where me asking you would be a secondary, like, disrespect to our relationship, what's the harm in making it? I'm not making assumptions. He was the girlfriend. That was the girlfriend. That's not an assumption. I'd be like, oh, there's a girl on his Instagram. That might be the girlfriend. In my brain, when we were messaging each other, it seemed from the way he was interacting with me that it would soon become something more serious. I did that to protect myself. It's not serious enough where I need to protect him. Exactly. If it's not serious enough, why should I care about this random guy who I met on Tinder? I don't. You know what I mean? Like, if I found something out that can potentially put me in emotional turmoil, I'm gonna do anything that I can to stop that. Yeah, so I just don't get why you would, I just don't get it, because, like, it's not serious enough to ask him about it, because we weren't even in a relationship yet. So it's not serious enough to ask him about it, you know? Yeah. If I was in your shoes, I would do either or. I don't really care. Like, it's not serious enough. If it was something or it wasn't something, it's really not that big of a deal because we're not in a relationship. You know? It's like not too big of a deal, you know? I've been in the same position that you were, and I just decided to ignore both of them and I moved on to someone else. Exactly! That's why I'm confused. Like, it's like, if it's not serious, then why are you messaging people that you don't know? Because if it's not serious, I'm messaging someone that I don't know to ensure that if they were in a relationship, then I can get out of there before it was serious. And if they were in a relationship, I want her to know that her boyfriend has been sending flirty messages to me and met me on Tinder. Like, I want her to know that. What if he told you they are in a serious relationship? One picture in 5 months doesn't scream serious. If they weren't, okay. Told her sorry. What? I'm confused. Oh, told her, comma, sorry. Got it. Okay. If they weren't in a serious relationship, I still wouldn't want to intrude on that. I would get out of there. I just don't understand why you would hate that approach unless you were thinking about cheating on someone and then that would come to light. You know what I mean? Literally, we're all saying the same thing over and over again. But, okay, that's like the middle section that I'm not getting. He lies, you find out, I totally agree with you. I wouldn't have found out unless I messaged her. The fact that you don't get it is puzzling to me. So that's like, no. If it's not serious, I'm gonna message her. If it is serious, I'm gonna give him the opportunity to, you know? Well, I wouldn't know that he's lied unless I messaged her. So I wouldn't have the inference that he lied unless I messaged her. You know? No, literally, Birdie, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't have known if I didn't message the girlfriend. I wouldn't have known for sure. If I messaged him, it would have given him the opportunity to lie to me, and why would I put myself in that position? I wouldn't. No. Okay. If I was in a serious relationship with someone, I would ask the guy first. I would give him the opportunity to lie to me or to be truthful. Then I would ask her. If it's not serious, I really don't see the harm in moving around someone because we're not in obligation to trust each other because it's not a serious relationship. Exactly! We weren't dating! If she says no, the guy is pissed. Why would he be pissed? Then I would be like, why do you still have a girl on your freaking Instagram? That's what I'd be like. I will. It's not going around his back if I don't have an obligation to him. I don't have any obligation to him because I'm not in a relationship with him. So there's nothing to go around the back on, you know? Okay, now even I'm lost. Birdie does know the situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't worry about it. If you can hate it, because I generally think the reason why we're disagreeing on it is because in this situation, you'd be the guy. You'd be like, "Oh, why these two girls? Like, I feel so disrespected right now." But I'm never gonna be the guy. I'm never gonna be the guy. So I just don't get it, and that's okay. Like, we can have a difference in opinion. And if me talking to the girl, seeing if you're dating him, is uh, what is the word called? Like a deal breaker? Okay, move on. You know? Oh, but okay. So I had this conversation with the girl. She was so mean to me. She was so mean to me in this conversation, but I'm not going to talk about her anymore because I feel like we've already moved on. But hold on. He messaged me a few days ago and was like, "I think my girlfriend's going to break up with me." Okay, like, and like I care because like that sucks, but also, why are you messaging me? Because we're not even that close as friends, you know? I can't. Um, anyways, so anyways, she said that she doesn't care if I still message him, and then they went on a break. So that might have been my bad, but also What was I saying? You don't really message someone. Oh, okay, I'm just confused about that whole situation. I'm gonna move on. Yeah, it literally doesn't matter at all. It's like, to me, he disrespected his girlfriend and still messaging me. So, in my brain, I'm never gonna date him because I'm not willing to be the girlfriend. I'm not. So, I'm never gonna date him. This is a situation. Unless you change, which I doubt it because I'm like the girl he's flirting with. And if I become the girlfriend, I'm just gonna become the girl he's dating with again, you know? Yeah. Well, I'm not in a relationship with him. So it doesn't matter if I disrespect him. It matters like on a human to human level, but when you're in a relationship, you're in a contract with each other. You're in a contract that says whatever, yeah, literally, Birdie. You're in a contract with them. And whatever you agree upon when you first start dating, like, I want you to be faithful to me. I want you to do all these things for me. I want blah, 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 blah. And if he wasn't doing the things, then that's disrespect to the contract. I don't have to be respectful to him because I'm not in any sort of relationship with him. Yeah, but because I'm not in a relationship with him and I was thinking about like potentially like progressing the relationship, it's not really a loss to me if he's mad at me. It's not. As I'm like, oh, okay, you're mad that I try to protect myself? Okay, next time. I think it's a smart move. I think it is. You're like cutting out the middleman, you know? I don't have to trust him. I'm not in a relationship with him. That's the point. I don't have to trust him, but the girlfriend has to trust him. That's like the whole point of a relationship, you know? I'm a deeply distrusting person, so I distrust everybody. It's just, it doesn't really matter who it is. Like, I've been best friends with the same person since I was 6 years old. I am 19. That is 13 years of friendship. Sometimes I'm like, do you still like me? Am I still your friend? Why haven't you messaged me back? You know, like that. I'd rather have someone be mad at me for that rather than be the side piece. Period. Period. I will ask him if we're in a relationship because in a relationship contract, I'm supposed to be able to trust you. And if you disrespect the trust and you're unfaithful, it just gives me dual reasons to like break up with you and break the contract. But if you aren't and you were truthful, I'm going to trust you even more and strengthen the contract. So it just isn't, I would do that if I'm in a relationship, but in it where I don't have any skin in the game, like I don't have any skin in the game, then it's really not that big of a deal. Let me ask you, what if the girl said, no, we aren't dating? Then what? Then I would still be messaging him. But I would ask him, I'd be like, hey, like, why do you still have a girl on your Instagram? And he'd be like, blah, blah, blah. If he finds out that I messaged her to see if they're dating, and he's mad at me for that, that sounds like a him problem. Like, I don't, yeah. And then it's done. Yeah, it's not a me problem. If he's mad at me for something that I did to protect myself before I got into a relationship, that's a him problem. I don't care. I don't, like, it's no skin off my back. Like, I can just find someone else. Like, yeah, it's a him problem. Because he's the angry one. I'm not. Have no feelings. I don't trust anyone, and I don't have an obligation to trust him. That's like the point. Yeah. Anyways, that was my first Tinder horror story. That took like an hour. No. 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 Bye. I will not tolerate disrespect in my own platform. Thank you. I think we can all agree that stuff like that is horrible. I agree. I agree. Yeah. Also, I'm not, no disrespect to those types of streamers. That's on them. I don't really care. Live your best life. But if you want to see stuff like that, go to a different streamer. Like, you can obviously tell that I, like, am covered up right now, you know? You know? Go to, like, a different person. I just am not the one. If I was offering stuff like that, I'd be like, yeah, sure. But I am not. It's fine. We're winning. Anyways. Okay. So, we all know, if you don't know, now you know, I'm on a track team. I'm a thrower for Division 2 college in track, right? And the way that my school kind of has it set up, each kind of event has their own, thank you, has their own like coach. Sometimes they share coaches, but usually there's like one coach who does one thing. So like we have one coach who does the multis, which are like a 7 event athlete and long jump, and we have one for long distance and one for pole vaulting, and we have one for throwing. Some of our coaches are people who are getting their masters in like, or not masters, or they're getting something. Oh, thank you, Mikey Lutz. I appreciate you. You've been subbed for so long. Mwah. Love you. Okay. Oh, bro, I'm gonna freaking cry. Okay. So some of the coaches are relatively young, right? They are going to school for like athletic training or something. So we have a few coaches who are young, right? I found one of my coaches on Tinder. I found him twice. 2 times. I found him once when I was up there, and I live like 7-8 hours from my school. 7-8 hours. I found him twice. I came back down here, found him again. Oh my god. I've been, like, I hope to God he didn't swipe right on me, but obviously I've swiped right. I don't want to know. I don't want to know, but, like, he's relatively young. He's kind of cute, like, but he's a coach. It'd be a weird power dynamic that I'm not okay with. I found him when I was up there, and when I moved back down here. Why does Tinder keep showing me this man's that I've obviously said no to? Literally, it's like, even if we were to start, like, dating, it'd be a weird power dynamic. It's illegal. Like, it's just, I think he's like 21 or something, so he's like not that out of my age range, but it's just so weird. He's a coach and I'm an athlete. I hate it. I can't. It makes me feel gross on the insides. Speaking of which, I saw this one, what is it? One TikTok, yeah, where, it's like this, like, cheerleading team, and the coach is like this really attractive, like, younger guy, and he's dating the flyer. And I was like, oh, that's such a cute relationship, but also it's a little bit weird. Like, it's a little bit of a power dynamic that I'm not sure I'm okay with, and that's fine. This is not really my place to judge because I'm not the one in the relationship. I'm just not. Yeah. Yeah. It's not really the best thing ever. Okay. Oh my god, Philosopher of the Moon! Welcome, welcome! How are you? Okay. Ready? Ready, guys? Okay, this one's shorter than the other ones. Okay. I got this. I'm gonna do it so good. Okay. Succeeding a great deal of deliberation, I refuse this offer of enlightenment. Please feel no anger towards me, for my mind will not be all kind and well. As if I have fallen too in love with the world to let it forswear me. I don't know that word. Dare to go away, sway away with your enlightened things, too pure for my ethics, too grand for my ideologies, too charming for my logic, too gorgeous for my rationale. Let them bow before you as a god of gods, so aware and wise. Please do not be angry with me, for may you see, with a heart never blind, there will be many faults that dance pretty in my eyes. So curious is this world. Period. Snaps. Let's all snap for Philosopher of the Moon, for that eloquent soliloquy that he just bestowed upon us. Because he's a winner. That's so funny. Yeah, snaps. I just can't get over how you, every single time you come in my chat, you have a new one. It's like, you're so eloquent. I can't. I would write one and I would be done. Like, I would be like, that was it. This was it. That was it. That's all I've got. To be fair, writing is not my strong suit. So, that is a different reason. Okay. So, I also have a different Tinder horror story. It's more of an awkward horror story than a non-horror story. Yeah. So, I went back to my hometown, right? And there Um, so our across the road neighbors, we've always been really good friends with them. Like my parents have, and I have like the one of the parents was one of my coaches because I'm a marksmith. I shoot pistols and act for accuracy and stuff. So he was my coach for that, right? So we were really close with them. I fa- They have 3 kids too. And the oldest one is a year younger than me. I found him on Tinder. And I thought I was like friends with him. And whenever I find people that I'm friends with, I always swipe right on them because I'm like, haha, this is so funny. I found you on Tinder. Like, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, ha ha ha, ha ha. He was serious. And I was like, no, no, I didn't mean it like that. Luckily, he hasn't said anything to me about it, so that's good. But it just isn't the vibe. Roll raggy. No, literally. Okay, okay. And I have another one. It makes me feel so awkward. Okay. So, I have an older brother. He's 2 years older than me, but he's 1 grade above me because he's a year and 9 months ahead of me. So it just was a weird time. Anyway, so he's 1 grade above me, right? And because of that, I know, and he was in a lot of sports. So because of that, I know a lot of guys that he was in his grade, right? And I thought some of them were kind of cute, so I found one of them on Tinder. I found one of them on Tinder, and I was like, "Oh, like I remember you. You're kind of cute. I'm gonna swipe right." So I swiped right. He messaged me. He said, "Oh, I remember you," and I was like, "Oh my god, I remember you too." He didn't remember me. It was a setup for a freaking pickup line. It was a setup for a pickup line. And I was like, what the fuck? He was like, well, I was going to say, I saw you in my dreams. Where did you see me? And I was like, we went to high school together. And he was like, oh no, if we went to high school together, I would have remembered you. And I said, no, we went to blah, 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 right? At this point, I was doubting myself because I was like, oh, wait, what if I am, like, thinking that this is one of my brother's, like, friends when he actually didn't go to high school with me? And he was like, what? Because he did go to high school with me. And he was like, he was, he was like, yeah, like, I thought I would remember you. So, yeah, so no, he didn't remember me at all. He does know my older brother. Found that out. And he pretty much just said, oh, well, you're hot, and unadded me. He matched me on Tinder. I was like, fair enough. That was hella awkward. It's a fair enough assessment of what just happened. Yeah. Those are all the horror stories I have for you today. So I figured we'd find some other people's and so we could laugh at them instead of me. Right? Right. I think I'm gonna eat some toast before we do that. And eat some toast before we do that. I have some toast. It's really chewy. I got some toast. It's on a bagel, so the bagel cooled down and now it's kind of chewy.
Was Ozzy Osbourne's cut?
Okay. Let's go. Hold on, is the thingy, it's the ad over? Yeah. Okay. Period. Oh my god, it's still bunny time. Bunny, bunny.
Online dating. What are some of your horror stories? Met a guy for a walk and talk through my favorite park. We had a nice vibe online and I had hopes we'd at least have a good time even if we weren't attracted. He was completely bizarre. Spent a lot of time trying to get me to believe that he was some sort of psychic or wizard with magic powers. Asked for a ride to the bus station from the park. I had no idea he hadn't driven himself there, and suddenly had to pee during the 5-minute drive. Wet his pants just before getting out of the car. He didn't need to pee, he was marking his territory. On OkCupid, summer 2006, I met a girl in West Hollywood and we went to dinner. She turned out to be way bigger than her pictures. Insanely rich, was Ozzy Osbourne's cardiologist's daughter or some crap like that, and had a nasty coke habit. The whole date she was doing C in the bathroom and barely ate her food. And then afterwards, we went back to her place, where she visibly spiked my drink with a Mickey and then asked me to tie her up, and then refusing to allow me to drive my car out of her garage, leaving me to wait in my car all night until the morning when I followed someone out. She called 3 days later to say that I caused her miscarriage. Did not know she was pregnant.
What the fuck?
What the frick? He
No,
told
literally.
me my dad was a riff. The reason? My dad had colon cancer and only people that like getting pounded in the butt get colon cancer. He did not get a second date. Smooth operator. He's a smooth operator. Seeing your sister on the recommended person list. Lol, you two probably have a lot in common, like your genes. I met up with a girl from a Cupid whose photo was nothing like her in real life, in a bad way. On the date she spent about an hour telling me how she falls out with her friends all the time and generally being self-obsessed and uninteresting. I felt no connection.
I once had a date and had to get on a train and went to the wrong station, then had to get another train to her, which was like another 30 minutes. Dude, how late were you, bro? I'd be so sad. Got there and the whole time didn't ask height after like 2 weeks, and got there she was 6'4". I'm 5'8". Oh no! So you guys are dating, right? You're dating, right? You have to be. It's mandatory.
And was polite but said that I didn't want to see her again and made my excuses and left. 2 minutes
That's so
after
sad.
leaving she texted me saying that she had never met anyone like me and thought we had something special. I politely reply and let her know I didn't want to see her again and she keeps texting, which I ignore as she isn't getting the message. A couple of weeks later she sends me a string of abusive messages. Why are all guys the same? You should put on.
Sorry, I was eating toast. Well, was the date good? Like, once you got there? What'd you guys do you remember?
Your CV that your dickhead etc etc, all after one brief date. There are a few stories I'd love to tell that unfortunately involve Redditors, but here's one that doesn't. Went on a date with a Navy boy, he seemed smart and sweet online. He picks me up in this incredibly ostentatious yellow Camaro, which I have the sneaking suspicion he borrowed as it was a stick and dude was having a hell of a time driving it. We decide to go walk.
Okay. Also, she was a lot bigger than me, and I'm quite slim, so it looked even worse standing next to each other. We went bowling and food was alright. Oh, that really sucks, dude. You could have been like one of those really fun couples, though. That's so funny. all of my boyfriends have been like relatively the same height as me, except for my last boyfriend. So I kind of get it because I'm kind of a bigger person, and our difference like wasn't even that much. And I kind of get it. Like it feels weird sometimes, honestly.
Walk on the boardwalk for a while, so he pulls into a parking garage. In his attempt to park the car, he completely
She literally said, "Let me just, let me get this hug real quick." How? Okay. Oh my God, that's the difference. The like height difference between my parents. My mom is like 5'7" and my dad is 6'3". Jesus fuck, Birdie, are you okay? Are you okay, Birdie? The tallest person I've dated was 6'1". Yeah. I'm 5'7" though.
sideswipes the car next to us, leaving yellow paint all across their car. He didn't even act like anything happened, so I say, I think you may have hit the car next to us. He gets out, looks at it, then climbs back in and goes, I guess we should park somewhere else, and peels out before I could even say anything. Fast forward, the date is going poorly, as a
Sir, what? I'm tall as heck, bro. I'm a beefy motherfucker.
hit and run is never a good start, and it's miserably hot out, so we decide to see a movie. It happened to be Shrek the Final Chapter, a kid's movie. He has his feet on the seats in front of us, which is no big deal, until a dad holding his toddler daughter comes in and the only seats still open are the ones in front of us. The dad goes to sit down. Navy boy doesn't move his feet. In fact, he even moves his feet forward a bit so that he hits the dad in the head. The dad looks back at us, and then Navy boy sighs heavily, takes his feet down, looks at me and goes, my feet were there first. After the movie he asked if I wanted to go to dinner. I said no. He drops me off. I'm surprised he didn't drop the transmission as well, and asks when he can see me again. He had a great time. Married 5 years now. Just kidding. I took mental note of his license plates and called the parking garage. Did not see again. There are a few
Bro, I was like, I swear to fucking God, if you're married now, I'd hit you. I once went on a date with this girl who was incredibly smart and had an aura around her that was, you just knew she was clever. Sick. I'm not seeing. Period. Me too. I think I'm pretty damn clever sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
stories I'd love to tell that unfortunately involve Redditors, so let's hear 'em. Met a woman for a date, wasn't a lot of chemistry, but she worked 2 interesting jobs, and there was no real warning signs. For a second date she invites me to this picnic campout thing where she didn't know the people very well. We talk about how most of her friends are guys and most of mine are girls. She says she is bringing crew along. The crew turns out to be another guy and 2 dogs. I engage the guy. He is super friendly and nice, spends his time fetching things for her, playing with children. We know some of the same people. After about 5 hours that I'm sitting alone with her, and ask, how long have you known Timo? I meet him through a Cupid 3 months ago. He is going through a divorce and he's not sure if he is going to have his kids or not, and I don't want to date anyone with children. Well, that PS went better than expected. Best wishes, my friend. This is not the type of thread I should be reading after finally getting a date with a girl for the first time in over a year. Gonna be self-conscious now. A friend of mine set up an account for a presentation on the successes of modern technology on the dating scene. His final report included a great story. He met up with a girl who was using her daughter's photos for herself, saying she was 25 online but was really 55, and said she had no ethical problems lying online as long as she told the truth while in person. To top it off, she was on her 3rd marriage and had multiple Facebook accounts. Multiple Facebook accounts. What a monster. There was a guy I never even actually.
Not really a horror story, but she made everyone look dumb who she talked to. Period. I'm in the UK, and her dad was a well-renowned math professor at the best uni in the UK. So was she like kind of prissy about it, or like was she like purposely doing it, or like what's going on?
Met because I got a super creepy vibe from him, but he would send out mass texts regularly asking if I wanted to do anything that night. I could tell it was a mass text because it showed the numbers of everybody else he was texting on my iPhone. Conversation. After many ignored texts, as follows. Him. Hey, want to do anything tonight? Me. Can you please remove me from this mass text list? I've never even met you. Him. This isn't a mass text lol. Me. Screenshot where it lists everybody else he's texting. Him. Oh lol. You caught me. Random stranger. Yeah, we can all read this. Me. Yeah, bye. Went on one date.
That's so funny. Now she was nice as everything. You just could feel. You would feel anxious of slipping up back. Oh, that makes sense. That would be kind of hard, like if you were on the same like level, you know?
He would not stop talking about his gorgeous ex-wife. Also mentioned being a lawyer, his huge house, and what a man whore he'd been since his divorce about 1,000,000 times. Was very self-absorbed and clearly just looking for hookups. Texted me the next day. Him. The fun committee is meeting at my house tonight. Me. The fun committee? Him. Yeah, you and me are the only members. Me. Meeting adjourned. Met a guy on Craigslist. After talking to him on the phone for a few weeks, decided to meet up at his place for our first date. Turns out the second bedroom in his apartment is a shrine to his dead grandparents.
Oh my
I
god.
figure since they raised him, it must be his way of remembering them. So I'll let it go. We date a few
Oh, that's
months
kind
and
of
it just so happens
suspicious.
he demands we take showers and sleep nude every night so as not to contaminate the bed sheets. I got out of bed for a glass of water once and ended up getting yelled at for 30 minutes about how I brought germs from the living room into the bedroom. The whole relationship was like something out of the Twilight Zone. We broke up shortly after he demanded my mother sign a letter saying she will respect his wishes not to meet her and have it notarized.
What
The
the
scariest thing
fuck?
about this that he's an NYPD officer.
What the
Not exactly
fuck?
who I want out there protecting the streets. Please don't let me see one of my dates described here. I have nothing to add here either, except all mine seem to be fatter than their pictures. Women, stop setting both of us up for disappointment. Well,
No,
I
I
wouldn't
don't
call
want
this a
to.
horror story, but it was pretty ridiculous. So, I had been talking to this guy, K, over a Cupid. He seemed pretty
Honestly, this is all I'm getting from this is just not to go on OkCupid
lovely
because
and kind of cute. Despite being a massive hipster, clear, giant glasses and all, he lived about 2 hours from me and decided to take a trip to meet me. I wasn't opposed to it. When he got here, he looked nothing like his photos. He was 5'3/4. His profile said he was 5'7". He was pudgy. His profile said he was thin. He had super crooked teeth. He was just rather unattractive. Either way, I was still willing to give him a chance. I'm not that shallow. He brought a bottle of wine. I don't really drink much. We went out to lunch, which was nice enough, and then went to hang out at my apartment. I had maybe a half a glass of wine. He finished the entire rest of the bottle. This was well before 4 p.m. Next thing I know, he's begging me to make out with him. I gave it a go for a minute before becoming really turned off and stopping. I just wasn't feeling it. He then started complaining that he was tired and drunk and that he wanted to sleep. I told him that he was welcome to crash on my couch for the evening. He asked if he could sleep in my bed. I said that that'd be okay and that I'd sleep on the couch. Then, I guess he just really wanted to sleep with me because next thing I know, he is yelling, throwing a total hissy fit, and storming out of my apartment to drive back to where he came from, while totally drunk. Apparently he got home safe. I didn't really talk to him again, though, after that incident. TLDR. Guy came from 2 hours away to visit, got drunk, when I didn't drink, tried to make out with me, wanted to sleep in my bed. threw a
Oh,
hissy
that's
fit
so
when I didn't let him,
gross.
and drove drunk back to where he came from. I guess he just really wanted to sleep with me because next thing I know, he is yelling, throwing a total hissy fit, and storming out of my apartment to drive back to where he came from, while totally drunk. If I had to start dating again, this would be my strategy too.
What the fuck?
6 months using online dating
That's probably
sites.
not the
0
best
dates and maybe
idea.
2 messages. No messages returned. Confidence is totally flagging. I think I'm worth dating, but clearly nobody else does. To me, that's a horror story. Till that, a lot of people who use dating sites have 1 or 2 horrible experiences and then meet their spouse. After reading this, I have
I hope
decided to
not,
apply for
cause I'm on
OkCupid.
like
These
4.
experiences seem rad. Application equals accepted. I went out with a girl from OkCupid who got
Oh
out
my
of a
god, it's
lesbian
all okay,
relationship and was
Cupid.
ready to get back on the pogo stick. Things were fun. We got along pretty good until the second night when I was getting a BJ and finished in her mouth. She must have forgot how bad it is because she didn't want to see me again and changed her looking for status back to women only. Not the worst, but the most entertaining. I created
Imagine it being so bad.
a profile on OkCupid. Some random girl messaged me. She
Ugh.
was pretty strange, and pretty open about being pretty strange. Most people on their first few dates show the best side of themselves. Not her. Fun stories included gems such as how she lost her virginity at 15 to a hobo who would hot
What
trains
the
in her
fuck?
town, and how said hobo was smuggled into her basement to live there off and on until her father finally found
What
out.
the fuck?
Apparently her dad wasn't around much, or didn't use the basement. The other stories were also weird. I didn't really feel like what she was sharing was any of my business, but I didn't want to be impolite. At the end of the date she wanted to hook up, but I needed to know we couldn't be exclusive. The conversation ran itself. I'd never suggested we sleep together, asked to be exclusive, or indicated I was interested in having sex with her to being with. Really, she just wasn't my type. I wanted to end it with a hug. When I said something like, "Hey, it was great to get to know you, but I want to have sex with you," she started talking about how that was okay, but she was only doing oral if I reciprocated.
What the
So then I
fuck?
clarified I only wanted a hug. And I'm definitely a hug reciprocator. Getting her to understand, in gentle terms, that I wasn't interested in anything sexual with her took a good 10 minutes.
What the
I
fuck?
said we weren't a good match, wished her the best in the dating world, moved on. Next week I had a 10-hour hike I had to take for my field biology class I'd put off until literally the last weekend of the semester. We were
Bro, what
supposed to
the
be taking
fuck?
1-hour walks a week for 10 weeks and keeping detailed journal notes. Instead, I took one really long hike for my 10 entries, got rained on, and by the end of that I felt tired as frick. I called up my lab partner. "Hey, what's up? Sorry I didn't call sooner, was on this ridiculous hike." Then I talked for about 5 minutes about the details of what I'd seen, etc. Our connection was kinda crappy. At some point she asks, "What do you want?" "Duh, to talk with you. Why else would I be calling?" This conversation went on for about 10 minutes before I realized I'd dialed the wrong Amanda. And I was talking with last week's date rather than my lab buddy. It was so awkward I can't really put it into words. When I finally realized what my tired, wet, dumb butt had done, I asked her a
Oh
few questions,
no.
played it off, wished her the best again and hung up, and deleted her number from my
Oh
phone.
my
Well, at
god.
least both of
That's
you
so
told crappy
horrible.
stories that the other didn't care about. I may not
That's
be the
true.
most suave mother sucker, but goddamn compared to these idiots I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio. I have far
Me
too
too,
many.
honestly.
I think the best would be when a guy drove by to pick me up and then texted me, "I can't go out with you. I'm too superficial," after seeing me standing outside. This was at least 6 years and 50 pounds ago. So I went back inside feeling really down about it. I get another text, "Okay, we can have sex, but no dating or relationship stuff." Unbelievable. What a champ.
What the
I am
fuck? At least he's
57. Was
honest.
married
At least he was
29
like, yeah,
years
I'm
till I lost
superficial.
my wife to cancer. Spent 18 months, 2 years dating after a period of grief. Everyone I met was negative, critical and dissatisfied. I won't bore you with each tedious failed date, But I do love what my sister-in-law told me when I was relating my latest fiasco. Dating in midlife is like trying to find a parking place at the mall around Christmas. There are only a few and they are all handicapped. I have not dated
Oh,
for a couple years
oh,
now and
that's
I'm
so
much happier
horrible.
alone. Signed
What
up on
the
a dating
fuck?
site. Did the whole personality test and got matched up with a female. 99% match it said. So I started IMing her and we trade phone numbers, and then when we are going on a date it turns out she has given me the wrong phone number. One number off. So I can't reach her and I have no real idea how she looks. Her photo was old. So I just start asking random girls there if she is the one I'm supposed to meet. No luck. Then when I get back to my apartment I wait a few hours, and when she logs on she's not happy with me standing her up. But then I explained to her that she gave me the wrong phone number and that she could have called me. But apparently she had also noted down my number wrong. Next date is scheduled and right phone numbers are given. When I get on the tram to go meet her for the first time my phone
Oh
battery dies. Oh crap. I
no!
rush back home and plug in the charger and phone her. She hadn't left yet and agreed that we were now even, because she screwed up the first time. We then meet 30 minutes later at an Italian place and eat pizza. We've been together over 3 years now and she's given me a son.
What the fuck?
This was back in the days of
It's like
MySpace
the
style
gods don't want them
top-down
to meet
bathroom
up, literally.
photos. I saw this girl who was cute in her pictures and connected online and decided to meet up. I waited for her at a designated spot in a mall, then got a call. She said, "I think I can see you. Is that you in front of the store?" Meanwhile I was trying to look all over for her, but there was a whale of a girl in my way. So I say, "I can't see you. Are you behind that huge lady?" Silence. Then it hits me that the whale was her. But to defend my shallowness, this girl was close to 300 and she had misleading photos. Needless to say, it was an awkward date. She ate a
No!
lot.
Wait, you continued the
About
fucking
4 years ago,
date? What the
reeling from a
fuck?
nasty breakup,
I would have
I
left.
decided to give Match.com a try. A couple weeks after signing up I received a message from a guy named Justin. He was cute and just my type, and we set up a date. We got along really well in person and ended up going on a couple more dates. It seemed like everything was going well. Justin lived in Fullerton and it was my turn to drive to him for a date. We headed over to Dave & Buster's and had a great time playing air hockey and Dance Revolution. Then we decided to head back to his place to watch a movie. We'd kissed a couple times, and Justin was an excellent kisser. I was looking forward to cuddling and more kissing. But first we decided to make a stop at 7-Eleven for some munchies. We gathered up a couple sodas and some candy and took them up to the register. $6.66 said the cashier as I pulled out my wallet to pay. Justin gasped loudly. "We can't possibly leave the total at $6.66, he exclaimed. "That's the mark of the devil." I just laughed. Justin got a very serious look on his face.
No.
"If we leave the total like that we're gonna get in a car accident on the way home and die." At this point I felt he was being ridiculous.
What the
"Fine.
fuck?
Grab something else if it bothers you that much." He threw a York peppermint patty on the counter and was satisfied when the total became $7.42. And we headed back to his place. After picking out a movie we grabbed our bag of snacks and plopped down on his bed. I proceeded to take off my shoes and get comfortable. But Justin gasped again. "Oh my god," he said. "Are those the socks with separate toes? Those really freak me out." I looked down at my striped toe socks. "How could anyone be freaked out by something so goofy? Seriously," he said. "I can't handle those socks. They really bother me." I just looked at him and leaned back on the bed. I was already over it. Little did I know Justin was just getting started. "Oh my god," he exclaimed.
I'm gonna be honest.
I could see that.
I'm gonna be honest. The toe socks kind of freak me out anyway. Like also wearing them not ironically, so I'd probably say the same thing.
The light had just gone off inside his head. "I get it now. You're a witch. It all makes sense." "Come again?" I asked. "It all makes sense. You're black cat. Your love of bats. Your strippy witch socks. And you weren't even bothered by the $6.66. Are you a witch? Get real," I said. "I'm not a freaking witch." But I could see the guy was serious. "Retard. Well, I think you're a witch."
Don't
he
say
said.
that.
"And
Don't
can
say
you
the
please
R
take
word. Don't say
off your
that.
socks? They're really bothering me." "I'm not taking off my dang socks," I replied. "You're being silly." "I can't help it. Those socks really freak me out."
They freak
"I'll
me
do
out
anything
too.
for you to
They
take them
honestly
off.
really
I'll
do.
pay you to take them off." Any amount. You'll pay me, I asked. Yes, came his reply. Fine. Pay me $6.66. He glared at me as I packed up my stuff and left. And that was the last I ever saw of Justin.
Oh
TL.
God.
DR. Guy I was dating seriously thought I was a witch. Edit. Formatting. He should have weighed you against a duck. Some people may heard this before, but oh well. So I'm new to the gay dating scene and tried out OkCupid. This one guy messaged me asking me very probing questions about the state of my teeth and specifically how I take care of them.
What the
He said
fuck?
he was a dental student, but stuff like how many cavities do you have and please specify the location of each cavity. I answered him because I was bored with nothing else to do. He then asked to talk to me on the phone instead since he hates texting and typing. He said he likes to call daily and talk for at least an hour. So far this guy has a bad vibe about him. His
I
profile had
concur.
no picture or age, but I was very oblivious to the worst outcome if I agreed to meet up with him. He was very persistent on meeting up and I agreed since I give in easily to peer pressure. So we went to get pizza in
We
the
love
city. When
self
I walked out
like
of my car,
recognition.
this fat, old, ugly man greeted me. He had to be in his 40s, wore baggy clothes, and was bald with a baseball cap. My intention on OkCupid was just to make friends since I'm new to it all and wanted to go slow. He was talking about how we'll have a great time in bed and how wild he was. He said
That's
we'd do it daily multiple
disgusting.
times a day. I asked him why he wore a hat and when he removed it, there was a huge lump on top of his head. He said it was a cyst and he was too scared to get it removed, but it looked like a horn. While eating, he would not stop talking about what he was going to do to me and it creeped me out so much. After dinner, he had to drive me back to my car since I didn't know where to park. He wanted to inspect my teeth before I left. I said no thanks, but he firmly insisted in a way I couldn't refuse. He put on some purple gloves, a headband lamp, and took out a belt of tools out of his glove box.
What
I
the
thought this is where I was
fuck?
going to die, haha. He used all the tools and took pictures of my teeth so he could use them as an example in class. Oh, before I left for real, he asked if we could make out. I made up the fact that I had a BF, but he said our relationship would be much better since he's experienced. I just ran to my car and dashed away as fast as I could. He was full of himself and was 42 while I was a timid 20-year-old guy. From now on I demand a face pic before talking and I'm cautious. The worst is when I met someone on here from R4R and they ended
I
up
don't know what that
smelling so
is.
bad I had to suggest, in the nicest way possible, them to take a shower. It still haunts me. I have met a few people from Reddit. After the last time, never again. He just got drunk and confessed his feelings for me at the end of the night and told me how, at the beginning of the night, all of his friends were warning him that I would break his heart. They'd only known me for 10 minutes, but they were right, I guess. Met a woman. All she wanted to do was have sex.
Me too.
About month into found out she was on probation for possession of illegal prescription drugs and DUI and was in rehab and had to breath in a breathalyzer just to get her car to start. And I also found out she was still married.
What the fuck?
When I was
The married
16, a
part
girl I
gets me,
knew
but
told
like
me
if
to add
someone's
her
in
guy
rehab,
friend on
that's not really.
MySpace. He and I would stay up all night talking on AIM and eventually decided to try a long distance relationship. He kept planning to visit and whatnot, but it never happened. I soon wised up and realized the girl had made him up. She proceeded to do the same thing to another friend who refused to believe me when I told her he didn't exist. Oh, teenagers. Met a very
I can't
attractive
even.
executive type woman.
I can't even imagine doing this. Stuff like this is why I'm reluctant. Literally same. I really want to just like have a wild time and like talk to some guys on Tinder and meet up with them, but I'm too scared that I'll fucking die. Like
We had a great time at a very nice restaurant and a little nookie back at her house. Next date we decided to take a trip to an island that's close top where I lived at the time. Later that night we were going at it and I pulled her panties off and stuck my dong in her. Right at this point she looked at
what
me
the fuck?
psychotically and said, "Who are you?" over and over. "I don't know you. Who the frick are you?" And then she got off my lap and I had to take her back that night. But the ferry didn't come until 5 in the morning. So we waited at the ferry terminal overnight. TLDR. Inserts penis causing woman to suffer amnesia.
What the
Signed up to
fuck,
POF
bro?
recently. Get a MSG saying, "Hey sexy, wanna hang out?" It was my best friend's sister's husband who apparently didn't recognize me. His wife is 3 months pregnant at the moment.
Oh
I thought the
No!
title said online gaming at first. I have much less to contribute than I thought I would when I clicked. Sounds like an interesting thread. Maybe you should make it. Met a girl on OkCupid and had some nice conversations online with her and she seemed really nice and cool. We scheduled a night to meet at a bar. When I show up I see a girl who looks kind of like the girl who I saw in the profile pictures. Only her hair was blonde instead of brown and she was pretty overweight. I tried to make eye contact as she was with 4 other people at a table and she ignored me. I assumed she was somebody else and continued waiting while I sapped on a bear. She finally comes over and introduces herself with a huge slur. She is totally wasted and gets really angry at me for not approaching her to say hello even though I didn't know it was her because she doesn't look like her profile pics. I am like whatever, I just want a beer. So we have a couple beers and she is getting really tanked. More so than could have been caused by the beer she drank. And I found out she was sipping 151 in the bathroom with 2 of her girlfriends.
I don't know what
Both
that
of her
means.
friends were succubi as well and verbally explained how they thought I wasn't a real man.
What does it even
Points
mean?
for not only using the word succubi, but also for using the proper Latin ending for the plural. Well done.
What?
Her profile picture was like 50 pounds old. Cameras take 10 pounds off. Internets take 100.
I don't know what that means.
110
151
pounds
proof?
off.
I don't know what that means.
I only had one negative experience through online dating. I was typically an OkCupid user due to the casual feeling of their website, but I once checked out another website, Webdit, to see what other dating sites were like. I was quickly contacted by a young blonde who seemed to be right up my alley. Sent a few messages back and
Sus.
forth and finally set something up. Meeting for coffee followed by a movie. Her idea. But a big first date no. At a local mall I was working at after my shift. I hadn't even noticed her walking right up to me. That's how not like
It does not. I don't don't know what that
her
means.
photo she looked. She was much shorter, chubbier, and had a ton of eye makeup caked on. Her nose looked like it may have been broken and
Shaken
poorly
twins.
set.
That makes
Really,
sense.
I just had zero attraction to her. She immediately gave me an overly familiar hug and said, "Holy crap, you are hot." I basically spent the entire time at the coffee shop attempting to conceal my disappointment, but I've been on some lackluster dates before. Just put your head down, get through it and move on. So we move on to the movie and it's bad, so she starts with the wandering hand routine and I am giving her no positive signs whatsoever. She
Literally
just
me
keeps
too.
trying. She eventually starts moving her hand from my knee to my inner thigh and I finally rebuke her. So the movie ends and she asks for us to go to dinner. I claim to be short on cash to get out of it, but she says she'll pay since I've paid for everything thus far. I'm tired from a long shift peddling clothes to teens and trying to stay awake through American Haunting, so I can't come up with anything else. We grab a burger and have small talk, mostly about her cat, which she has been talking about all night. Check comes and she grabs it, takes a glance, and slides it back to me. At this point, I just want to wrap this up and go. So I pay the check and drive her back to her car. I pull in and give her the awkward hug and well, see you later, and she says, hold on. I was going to ask if you wanted to come back to my place. I don't think that's a good idea was all I said, and boom. Waterworks. She basically sits in my passenger seat, bawls her eyes out, and sobs
What
in
the
broken
fuck?
incoherent sentences for the next half hour. About how into me she is. About how no guy ever wants her. About everything. I end up convincing her that I will totally call her pinky swear and she gets out. I take off and never speak to her again.
Literally same. I
Not
wouldn't.
mine, but my mother's story. My sister and I were in our teens, and we had to chaperone a first blind date between my divorced mom and this guy, one of her co-workers from her office. The biology department of the local college set her up, so we watched the movie, E.T., the Extraterrestrial. Yes, first time in theaters. I'm that old, sue me. Mr. Dork was visibly frustrated a couple of times as he tried to follow the action, and occasionally lets out a "why'd he do that" to my mom, as if she had seen it before. Each time there was a new trick the alien learned, he'd ask how can he do that or what in the heck in the same voice, just a little louder. In the highest
Literally
tension
me when
moments
I'm
of the
watching
film,
it, like
the alien
anime
is
or
dying,
something.
the G-men take over the whole house, and they finally dial up some analysis and start yelling to each other, "He's got DNA. He's got DNA." Mr. Dork has finally lost it. He stands up in the theater and yells, "What in the Heck is DNA? Okay, it was the 80s and not everyone works in the biology department. But man, it was not obscure stuff even for kids who didn't grow up with biology textbooks everywhere. As we leave the theater, my tween sister explains what DNA is, and I explain what it stands for, and why that would be an important thing to know about aliens. We never heard from Mr. Dork again. I
I wouldn't
dated a
either.
guy from
Jesus fucking
OKC that
Christ.
was pretty nice, funny. However, he didn't tell me he had a son until date. Number 4 I think. Which was fine. I like kids. And then randomly after 4 months, he dumped me. 2 days later he was FBO with another girl. I
I don't know
later
what
found
FBO
out that he'd
means.
been dating the second girl all along, but she went to study abroad. I was there to fill in the space. Thumbs up. She grabbed my
Winning,
junk and then
honestly.
told me it was bigger than her husband's. Date over. I only go crazy when it's not married. Guy took me back to his place
It's a
for
good rule,
sexy
honestly.
times. Told me to be quiet cause his wife kid was sleeping upstairs and didn't know he was bisexual. WTF. I made an OKC account and almost immediately regretted it. It was interesting, but too time consuming. Haha, read it. And frankly, most of the people were surprisingly off. I met a few people, actually went on some awesome dates, but my big thing was that I was genuinely looking for long-term potential, not hookups. So this usually led to a hug and an awkward goodbye when my date realized he wasn't getting any. Anyhow, this
Fair.
one guy messaged me and seemed incredibly awesome. He was only 24, but had been an Air Force mechanic, had traveled the world, and was now driving a truck so that he could afford more travel. Though this may already have been a warning sign for most, I found it intriguing. We talked every night for quite a while. He would give me pretty sound advice on shop talk etc. I was apprenticing in an auto shop at the time, would make me laugh, etc. But then one day, he said something that made the neck on my hair stand up. It was a slip of the tongue, and he didn't even realize he had done it, but he knew my ex's mother's name, a detail I had never shared. I didn't have the class to let it slide, so I called him out on it. It turned out that he had so thoroughly stalked me that he knew each of my previous residences, jobs, social network accounts, etc. and had even narrowed my current residence to within 6 city blocks. I freaked out. I changed my phone number, changed my OKC account, deleted and remade my profiles, etc.
That's so suspicious. I'm glad he slipped up and said something, because otherwise she'd probably be in a really abusive relationship. So I'm glad that happened, but that's so scary.
Nothing ever came of it, but I was thoroughly terrified at the time, especially when, months later, I received a new message to my new phone that said we could have traveled together. You said you had nothing tying you down.
Oh
I
my
thought you were
god.
perfect. At the time,
Oh
I
my
thought,
god.
oh god, never again. But then I met my current so after he promised me a magic carpet ride. Stop it. That's not what he meant. Oh wow, that sounds so scary.
That's so
By
terrifying.
the way, I like what you've done with your hair. Not really a dating horror story as such, but I guess it is the same. I heard about this today, actually. A friend of mine's, who we'll call Sean, sister, who we'll call Sally, met some guy on chat rooms, or something like that, and they were talking for around a year before they actually met up. The sister is a single mother with 2 kids. The man, let's call him Sam, has no kids but was in a relationship for some years with another woman who was a single mother of a 14-15-year-old girl. Fast forward around a year. They've been meeting up for around a year now and have
I'm very
finally
confused
decided
by
to
this
move in
story. I
together.
don't know what's going
By
on.
pure chance, he gets mentioned in conversation to one of her brother's friends and they recognize the name. They confirm that it's him, and it turns out he was convicted of having sex with his previous girlfriend's daughter, and he was placed on the sex offenders list for 6 years. He freely admits this to his current girlfriend but says that he met her in a nightclub and she told him she was 18. To Sally, this story didn't seem to put her mind at ease. Sally has a cousin who is a SID officer. Sally got the cousin to look into this for her and the cousin informed a social worker of the current situation. The social worker visits Sally and tells her the full story that he didn't pick a girl up in a nightclub, but it was the daughter of his ex-girlfriend that he slept with. So, he knew her exact age beforehand. Apparently she's kicked him out of the house, but I'm not really sure exactly what has happened since that.
Bro, what
Date
the
horror story. No.
fuck?
Dating horror story. Focus all my nizzle. One word.
What
Hodder.
the
Thought that
fuck?
the clutter surrounding him in his pic was something easily cleaned. Oh no. Could barely close the door to the bathroom, that was practically in the middle of his studio apartment, because of the amount of debris on the floor. Informed him that while he was a lovely ent, he was not my cup of tea. Like everybody else, I've had a fatter than her 10-year-old photo experience, but met one of my best GFs ever that way too. Anyone putting up photos of themselves as a 10-year-old on a dating site has issues. Oh man. Okay, I met this guy on POF and we got along really well, seemed to share the same interests, the same sense of humor, etc. I was hesitant to meet up, but finally after a month he convinced me to go out for coffee. So, I go to pick him up, because he didn't have a car, of course, and lived with his parents. Keep in mind he was 28 and I was 26, and when I got to his neighborhood and pulled up to his house, it looked like something from Hoarders. There was trash everywhere, furniture strewn about the yard, just a mess. I was willing to overlook that because it was his parents' house and not necessarily a tray he inherited. Anyway, he comes out in a really sweet South Pole jacket with a fur-lined collar and gets into car. We hug and I distinctly smell the scent of pet urine and stale cigarettes all over him. I tried
Oh
my best not to
no.
gag. He smiled and I noticed his teeth were all yellow and he clearly hadn't bothered to even brush them. So, we go to a coffee place and he tries to hold my hand when we get out of the car and I pull away. We talk for a few minutes and then I tell him that I have to call work because I'm on call. Blah blah blah. I decide to ditch, say I have work, and drive him home. When I drop him off he doesn't get out of the car right away and asks me to come in for a minute, but I can't come in the front door because he lives in the basement, so I have to climb down the storm cellar in the back. Heck no. Must go. He still isn't
What
getting out
the
of the car, so I
fuck?
repeat that I really need to go and I can tell if I look at him he's going to try to kiss me by the way he's made his way practically onto my lap. He then begins rubbing my arm and telling me how pretty I am. I avoid eye contact and tell him straight up to get out of the car. He huffs and slams the door, making his way back into his basement. He called me a lot afterward, but I never
Oh
responded.
my fucking god.
Not my
That's
story, so
so
don't upvote
horrible.
me. Just thought that I would spread some laughs about an online dating horror story that I read on here a
That's
while
so
back. The op
suspicious.
meets
I
a girl
can't.
on an online dating website. He sees her picture and she looks amazing. They chat online for a while and she mentions that she is unbeatable at Scrabble. So he goes over to meet her and she lives in a trailer. She is much heavier than in her picture. When he gets inside there isn't anywhere for him to sit and she doesn't have anything for him to drink. He proceeds to kick her butt at Scrabble twice, at which point he gets up to leave.
He was
As he
like,
is leaving
"You
she starts
liar!
crying and begging him to have
You're
sex
not
with her.
unbeatable
In
at
his own words,
Scrabble!"
I did not. My friend met a guy on OkCupid who claimed he was a 5'10" bodybuilder,
Me
as
too.
well as bearded, and recently garnered a position with the
Strength.
law. He turned out
Oh,
to
my
be a 4'11"
back just
neo-Nazi with a
cracked.
North Star to that said white
Ugh.
power and rune on his head. His position with the law was a joke about how he had just finished 18 months in prison for armed robbery. Meanwhile, I met my current boyfriend on OkCupid, studly scientist who brews and skis, and we've been together for almost 2 years. You win some, you lose some.
Oh, that's a pretty big
If
loss,
you are new to the
actually.
channel,
You met
you
like a
can
fucking
subscribe. I
neo-Nazi.
publish new videos every day.
That was a One Tap Studios, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck? You don't play these games in this household. No, I can't. I can't, bro. Anyways, I think I'm gonna head out. I desperately need a nap or some caffeine. I had a blast today. It was so fun. I will see you guys tomorrow at the exact same time, 1 p.m. EST. Yeah, I'm not so sure what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm thinking about it. If you guys ever want to know my stream schedule, you can go ahead and join the Discord. I upload all of my streams. I let y'all know beforehand. If not, it's not that big of a deal. I appreciate every single one of you for joining and having some fun with me, even if we disagree. It's just a fun time, you know? And I'm gonna see if I can raid out, because I like it. I don't see any channels that I could raid right now, but another thing on my Discord is I give you guys an opportunity to tell me some other small streamers that you guys really like, and I try to raid them when I can. So if you have any streamers that you want rated or you want to have fun, yeah, go ahead and message them to me either on here, because I'm always looking for new small streamers to support, or on Discord. Bye, Birdie. Shall have a good nap, and then I gotta clean my room. Have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. Love you guys. Bye!